Hi guys, today I am going to tell you a little bit about this AP Physics course that we are going to do together. I am super excited about it. So this is going to be AP Physics 1, and let me tell you a little bit more about that. So you go from thinking about physics like this to thinking about physics like this. You are going to have to put up with my weird humor a little bit during this course, but that's okay. It's a wonderful trade-off because you'll learn physics in the meantime. All right, let me tell you about AP Physics. AP Physics. AP means this is a college level course. It's algebra based, which is nice because some of the other physics classes are calculus based. And if you really love physics, you will be taking that later on. You can take it after this course. But this is an algebra based, so you don't need to know calculus, and it's college level. So we will expect it to be a little bit hard. There are literally college students right now paying thousands of dollars to take a course similar to this one, and you will learn the exact same things. It's also an introductory physics course, so you don't have to have had physics in the past to understand the concepts here. Okay, can you take more AP Physics in high school? Absolutely, positively. So we are doing AP Physics 1 this year. That's what we're going to be doing this whole year. And at the end of the year, next spring, you will be taking AP Physics 1 test. Okay, you'll sit for the exam, and then you can get college credit for this class. Yay! Okay, there is also an AP Physics 2 that you could take next year that is supposed to sort of follow this course. However, you can just go ahead and skip that one, and I would recommend doing AP Physics C. AP Physics C can also be considered an introductory course, but the C means that it's calculus based. I did AP Physics C in high school. So I did 1 year of mechanics, AP Physics C, and 1 year of electricity and magnetism, AP Physics C. So these courses gave me college credit when I passed the AP test at the end of the year. So I would actually skip this one because that one, I don't know that it's going to add much. It's a little redundant. If you're going to go on to take AP Physics C. That is a harder, well, actually, we'll talk about which one's harder. It turns out that this one has the lowest pass rate, but don't worry, you guys are going to be more than prepared to pass this. All right, let me tell you about the AP test, because I know you guys want to know this stuff, right? What about the AP test? Is it super hard? Yeah, it's a little hard, but they tell you ahead of time everything that it's going to cover. So Unit 1 is going to be kinematics, Unit 2 dynamics, Units 3 circular motion, gravitation, energy, momentum, harmonic motion, which is like, sound waves and stuff like that, and then torque and rotational motion. And you can see, they even tell you, like, most of the test is right here on energy, so we'll spend a lot of time there. A lot of the test is also on kinematics. But this is a big enough chunk of the test that we also can't ignore these. So we are going to cover all of these things. Now, in the book that I have, it also covers some electricity and some magnetism, but you'll notice those are not listed here, so that is not going to be on the AP test this year, which is nice. So this is really all that we have to cover to do the AP test. Okay, now what is the test like? There are 2 parts to the test. There's a section 1, which has a 1A and a 1B. Section 1 is just like you're taking a multiple choice test, a Scantron, you're filling in the circles like A, B, C, D, or E, what's your answer type of thing. And that can be single select multiple choice, or they can make it super hard and be like, circle in all the answers that apply. And it could be A, B, and not C, or, something a little bit more challenging. So there are 50 total questions in the multiple choice section, and you're going to get 90 minutes to answer those questions. That's going to end up being half your score. So the weighting means how much of your grade is going to be reflected by that section of the test. So section 1 is going to be 50% of your grade. Okay? Then that's going to take 90 minutes, an hour and a half. Then you're going to go take a lunch break. And then in the same day, you're going to come back, take section 2. So after your lunch break, you come back and do another 90 minutes. So in total, this is a 3-hour test. Is that hard? Yeah, it's a little hard. I'm gonna like prep you before we get to that point, which is gonna be next spring, on how you need to sleep the night before, how you need to eat the day of the test, etc., test taking strategies. We will go over all of that. So don't worry, you'll be prepared. Section 2, when you come back, you're not going to be doing multiple choice questions. You are going to be doing free response questions. This, you can't ignore this. This is 50% of the test. And they're going to ask you to design an experiment, and you have to explain out how you're going to do that. We'll go over all of this so you will be prepared. Qualitative and quantitative translation. We'll go over that. Don't worry. Paragraph, argument, short answer. You guys are good at arguing, right? We can do that. And then questions 4 and 5, it's going to be a short answer. All right. We don't know the exact date yet, but we know it's going to be sometime in the spring 2023. And what we'll need to do is we'll need to sign you up for the test through your school counselor. So your school counselor at Farmington High in November 2022. Okay, so November of this year, we'll have to sign up. So think about it. You can have all summer to prepare for this test. And if you're not feeling good about it in November, if you're like, you know what, I don't know if I really like this, I don't know that I want to continue, that's fine. You can decide. You have all the way up until November to decide. On November 15th, what we need to do is tell your school counselor to sign you up for the AP test. And they can select the test-only option, and I will, of course, remind you before this date comes, which means you're only taking the test, you're not taking the class at the school. Okay? You still, even after you sign up for the test, you can still change your mind up until March 15th of next year. But after March 15th, if you're still signed up at that point, then there's no turning back. Like, they're going to give you a test, and you might get a 0 on it if you don't go take it that day, but you're committed to taking the test by March 15th. We know that sometime in May is going to be when the AP test is, but we don't know the exact date, like I said before. Okay, how do they score it? You're going to get a score, and it's either going to be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. Your score is somewhere from 1 to 5. No, actually, you're going to get a 5. My physics teacher was awesome, and he set really high expectations for us when we were taking the AP test. He wanted everyone in his class to get a 5, and I'm pretty sure that like above 90% of us did. So let's aim for a 5. We're going to get a 5. A 5 is the equivalent of an A. It would be like if you took this college level class and got an A, that means you're going to get a 5 on this AP test. And it means that you're extremely well qualified to get college credit just for showing that you passed this test with a 5. Now, you can still get college credit even if you get a 3. That will qualify you for college credit at most colleges. A 2 or a 1, it doesn't really hurt you. Like a 1, if you get a 1, which means you totally bombed the test, it means it doesn't mean you're horrible at physics. It means there's no recommendation. Like, you probably won't get college credit, but it doesn't really hurt you, if that makes sense. Okay, and you know what? You're going to be ready for the test. You're going to feel as confident as this kitty here. You're going to be like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the test. Okay, now, this is, I think that I have printed this out for you. So if you want to look a little bit more closely at the course framework, these are things that we are going to study. So when I talked about Unit 1 kinematics, kinematics is sort of the study of motion or kinetic energy, right? So we're going to go over that. And these are things that I'm going to go over with you. But if you want to do other sources like Khan Academy or something like that and look up these different things, you can do that. You can look up a YouTube video on Newton's first law and you will be even more prepared than what I can do for you, right? So don't be overwhelmed by all of this. I just want you to know what is going to be on this thing, on this test, and just to help you direct your self-study, because this is really going to be a self-study course. I mean, I'm showing you this stuff, but you can't just like watch the videos and gather this information in your head that way. Like, you actually have to do the work and do the physics problems. That's how you learn physics, is doing physics problems and making mistakes. Yes, So all of those things are going to be on there. They're also going to have us develop science practices. This is going to be important when we're answering those free response questions, because they will probably ask you something like that. Like the first lesson is going to go over something called the particle model, where you can use little dots to represent motion. And they might ask you a question about modeling. And they'll say, you know, how can you use the particle model to describe the motion of a rock that you throw into the air? Something like that, right? And you'll be able to do that super easy. That would be like a really good free response question to sort of think about in your head and maybe practice writing out. Okay, so the science practices, these are things that will definitely show up on the exam. In fact, they tell us that they will. So 30% of the exam is going to have some sort of modeling as a question. Mathematical routines is going to be like 20%. So this is important because when I took AP Physics C, it was mostly about memorizing equations and then knowing how to plug the right numbers into the equations. AP Physics 1 is not like that. They really want you to understand the physics concepts and be able to explain how to use physics. And that's why AP Physics 1, some people think, is harder than AP Physics C, because you really have to understand and explain the concepts behind it. But I think that it's really going to be helpful to understand the physics concepts. Like, I'm really looking forward to doing this class. I'm so excited, because I think I'm going to learn physics at a really deep level, and it's wonderful. Physics is so fun. I hope that I can get across how fun it is. And because when you go to college and you take an introductory physics class, no kidding, this is what it's going to look like. And no offense, but it's probably going to have like some professor that has English as a second language, or his TA is going to have English as a second language. And this is going to be what it looks like, and you're going to be like taking notes like a mad person, and it doesn't seem fun. And honestly, college level classes, especially the introductory classes, they tend to be weed out classes. Weed out, because they want to weed out or fail people. They want to fail people that are not really interested in physics, honestly. And so they only get like the super motivated people to continue on in physics classes. And then it gets funner and funner as you go. Really, physics is one of those things that gets funner and funner as you go. But in the beginning, it looks like this. So don't be sad. I mean, if you can pass this test, you can skip your introductory college level physics class. Like in college, you can skip this and go straight to the fun classes. So it's totally worth it. I hope you guys know how worth it is. These are going to be some of the equations that we are going to know inside and out. All of these equations are going to be dripping off your tongue. You probably know a lot of them. Like, look at these geometry and trigonometry equations, right? How do you find the area of a rectangle? Is the base times the height. How do you find the area of a triangle? It's 1/2 the base times the height. Circle, etc. You don't have to memorize these now. I just put these in your folder so that you have these as a reference, but eventually we're going to memorize probably most of them. You should also know, and I'll go over this in one of the first lectures, is sine, cosine, and tangent. So there is a little bit of trigonometry involved. SOHCAHTOA, if you remember that is going to be handy for you to know. But all of these are probably going to be new to you, and we'll learn them. Don't worry, we'll learn them. These are going to be dripping off your tongue by the end of it. Like, I had a lot of these memorized before I went into the test. I think they let you have one cheat sheet when you go into the test. Honestly, it's not even worth it to have that. You're going to spend more time searching the thing for the right equation than you would if it were just dripping off your tongue. So it's not even worth it. Like, that can be reassuring to know that ahead of time, but you know what? We're just going to learn them. Okay. Oh, this is Mr. Jackson. Oh, I love him. He is a heavenly physics angel now. He is passed on to the next life, probably knows more about physics now. Oh, can you imagine? I think that, like, when we pass on to the next life, that we probably get all this new understanding of physics. I can't wait for that to happen. Like, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, now it all makes sense. that's going to be so fun. I hope that he is experiencing and enjoying that now, because he really was an awesome teacher. Really made me love physics. And I learned after his death from his obituary that his students, so me and my classmates, but not just me, but like all the kids that he taught over the years, got the highest score on the AP Physics test compared to everyone else in the country. And it was just because, he had high standards. He made us memorize the equations, and he told us we were all going to get 5s. And he would kick us out of his class if we weren't prepared. He'd be like, F for the day, and just like kick you out if you didn't have your homework ready. He really was awesome, and I just love him, and I hope that I can be like half the teacher he is. Anyway, this is a little bit more table of information. So these are going to be some of the constants that we need to know. If you are a fan of a certain television show, you might remember like Planck's constant. Well, there's a lot of other constants that we are going to learn, like the mass of a proton, the mass of a neutron, an electron, and speed of light. Oh, yeah, we'll need to know that by heart. That's represented by C in a lot of the equations. And then, yeah, all of these, like Coulomb's law, we'll learn all of this. It's going to be so fun. You also have to use units a lot. If you get the right number, but you don't have the right units, fail. That's a fail, right? You might not get the right answer overall. So we have to pay a lot of attention to units. That's going to be super important. Okay. So it's not going to be quite as easy as this little class right here. I don't know why this is so funny to me. You are going to have to put up with a few dad jokes and Far Side humor, stuff like that. But this teacher is like showing them what a cow is. And then this guy has a question. Yes, I believe there's a question there in the back. It's just so funny to me, because what is he going to ask? Like, what do you think? I don't even know. Okay, anyway, so let's delete this. I put this also in there as a reference for you. But we'll have a lot of this information. So you can use these reference pages like when you're doing homework problems. And I'll just tell you as we go what's going to be important to memorize, okay? All right, so that is pretty much it. Oh, I wanted to jump to the beginning of this lecture. Let's see, because I wrote some important things about what do I expect from you. Okay, so what does this mean for you? Let's see. Okay, this is what I'm going to aim for. I'm going to aim for 3 or 4 lectures every week to give you, and that's going to start this week. The homework, and they're going to have homework assignments with them, and then you can take a picture of your homework and send it to me, and either I'll correct it or give you the answers. The homework will take about 20 to 30 minutes, and I'm going to probably, with some of the lectures, give you about 10 minutes a day's worth of reading. So sometimes I'll have you read something before the lecture, then you listen to the YouTube video that I make for you, and I'll send you a link, and then you're going to do the homework, and then you're going to send me a picture of the homework. I will correct it, or I will give you the answers. Okay, we're going to do this over the summer. This is our goal. After school starts, we can't totally stop. The reason why we can't totally stop is because the test is not until spring, and I don't want you to forget everything, but it's going to be way less than what we're doing over the summer. We'll go down to 1 lecture a week, and then there's going to be a homework question, maybe only 1 problem every day, or you can wait for the weekends and do like 5 problems, right? And then once we get close to the fall, I am going to give you a major test, and this is going to be a practice AP test, and I want to find out your weaknesses. So I'm going to have you take it just like as if it were a real AP test, and then I'm going to find out what we need to focus on before the spring. I'm going to try and do a little bit of lab work and experiments as we go along. I don't think that'll be the main focus because I don't know how often we'll be able to actually get together and do it. But that's okay. You'll still be prepared, and I'll still try and make it kind of fun. So that's what this is going to be tailored like, okay? Oh, yeah, I remember why I put this little GIF here. Don't use your phone. Like, while you're listening to my lectures, don't Don't just be multitasking. I really want you to focus as if it's a class, as if I were in front of you and you were forced to pay attention to me. I don't want you like, also texting at the same time. Like if you weren't able to do it in class, just don't do it while you're listening to me, okay? All right, and then hopefully we'll get through it and you'll be able to skip all of this in the future. So yay, physics. I am super excited. All right. Well, that's it for the first lecture. Just kind of, that was supposed to be a heart. Okay, I'll try again. Anyway, I'm super excited. I hope you can tell that. And that's the end of the first intro to the class. All right, bye.